Ride the Tide Sports Podcast is brought to you by Vegas Sports Advantage.
Welcome to VegasSportsAdvantage.com, the website where you can win with us. It doesn't matter if your favorite team is playing.
It doesn't matter what you think.
What matters is which team has the best odds to win. Our MIT team has had a winning record every year for the past 15 years. This gives us the confidence to guarantee all of our packages. We have the highest verified record. Don't miss out. Get in the game. It doesn't matter which sport it is.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Win with Vegas Sports Advantage. Go to VegasSportsAdvantage.com to start winning today.
Welcome, everybody, to Ride the Tide Sports Podcast. Thank you for joining us here on our midweek recap. We're going to start it off. We got a lot of football. We know that's what you're really here for, but we have some news before that, and I would like to start with MLB, primarily the Cardinals' 16-game winning streak. Now, the Cardinals are a team that in the first half of the year was making very little noise, and that was because the San Diego Padres had that wild card spot all the way locked up. Now that the Padres, second half of the year, are going, the Cardinals are shockingly playing like they're in 2011, and they're not losing games. They have now won 16 straight games. That has tied a franchise record. They are currently playing tonight, I believe, in Milwaukee. So we will see if that streak continues for a new franchise record or if it's over. But there is a big piece of news that also came out of MLB, and we will be getting into next week all the postseason stuff because I know there's a week left. But big name in MLB, Shohei Ohtani, was asked a question essentially on his future with the Angels. And Shohei said he loved the fans, he loved the team, he loved the Angels organization. But he said at the end of the day, he wants to win. And we know that pretty much means it's the words that Angels fans were always worried that Mike Trout would say because it would mean that he would leave. And Ohtani's like, bro, look at all the headlines I'm getting. I am now going to win MVP, most likely, but we'll see what happens with Vladdy. Why would you stay on the Angels when there are so many other teams in the American and National League that not only need you, but you can go win a ring there? And it will be so much easier if you do that. But I believe that is all the baseball that I have. And now I'm going to bring in Snoop Luke, and I'm going to bring in Tycho, the rest of the group here.
Heyo! How you guys doing? What's up, Dylan? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Me and the people are just having a little one-on-one to start the show. How are you guys doing? Come on now.
I'm doing good. I'm chilling. It's a different location today. As you can see, there's no big white flag behind me, but there is a lion. So
It's faded in the background.
there's always something.
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, can't complain about it. Didn't get off work too late. Was able to chill down for a little bit, get some grub. Now we're here.
Come on now.
And you know what else is here? Freaking hockey.
Hockey is
hockey.
back.
Back.
And you know who got a goal? This man. Riley Shahan scored the first goal for the Seattle Kraken. The absolute dumpster fire that is Riley Shahan that was on the Red Wings.
He stays making headlines for his goals.
Now,
he always gets an important goal.
The last season Riley Shahan played on the Wings, he had no goals going into the final game of the year, being the final game at Joe Louis Arena, and put up 2 goals. And more memorably,
put up the first goal in the game.
Final goal, correct.
Which everyone called him scoring in that game just because, that was just – it was just meant to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
Then Buddy decides to take the last one.
Final goal in Joe Louis Arena history, might I add.
Yeah, congratulations, Riley Shahan. Dude, he's always being. These are just funny. These are funny.
He's only here for the important things.
Exactly. He's only here for the important things. So the shout out to them. That's all we have for NHL though. So we're actually gonna bring up John Jones now. John Jones' police report was obtained, and let's just say things are looking real shaky for this man. According to the police report, I know we initially heard that he apparently injured a car. We had questions about that, and we didn't really know what else happened. Okay, first things first about the car. The car that he injured was a police car. It was the police car that they were trying to put him in. They handcuffed him, and he got mad, so he headbutted the police car and indented the car and chipped the paint. So they called it, injuring a vehicle, which apparently is a felony there. And then onto the actual the police report. It's the actual incident before he got arrested. And did that with the cops. Apparently, his fiance was reported to have a bloody nose, blood around her lips, and blood all over her sweatshirt. Apparently, she didn't get hit somehow, and she's just bleeding a lot. But she also said that he pulled her hair when she was trying to leave the room. Yet she somehow never got hit, but is bleeding a lot and doesn't remember. Like, she didn't say how she started bleeding. They were like, why are you bleeding? And she was like, she didn't say. So, and then the only thing she seemed concerned about, and this was noted in the police report, is she only seemed concerned about when he was getting out. And like, she seemed kind of hesitant about it, so like, when does he get released? Like, she wanted to know when he got out, so that leads for skepticism there. But let's hear some takes here on what you guys think about this, Luke.
Well, it's just another day in Las Vegas for John Jones, and like it's getting ridiculous to this point. Vegas just needs to take the step and just ban this man from the entirety of Las Vegas, because anytime he takes a step in, it is trouble. It is insane that he cannot keep himself under control there. He just got inducted to the UFC Hall of Fame that night. Couldn't even go a full 24 hours as a UFC Hall of Famer without making headlines, getting arrested. Where? In Vegas. Like, it's honestly pathetic.
I mean, it definitely is ridiculous. Dylan, what do you think about this?
I think that I hope that more information comes out, because I'll be honest, there's a lot of pieces to this story, but there's one piece that I just can't get out of my head, and I don't understand how, if there's blood on her sweatshirt per se type of thing, I would get it. But the fact that she had a bloody nose and all the blood that was coming off her face, I hate to say it, but I just feel like she must have been hit. I get she said she wasn't, and maybe she wasn't trying to rat something out, or maybe she really wasn't. But I hate the situation, to be honest, because I'm a fan of John Jones, and if he's out here doing this type of shit, especially to his wife, I mean, can't never support that. So it makes me sick, bro. I hate it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, definitely a tough look for John Jones.
Probably an ex-fiance down the road.
Yeah.
She's probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not looking great. It's usually how those things end.
But big UFC news.
Oh, what just happened? Oh, what? Sterling backed out of a fight. The paper champ.
Wow.
The paper champ. He gets his ass mopped the entire fight. And then towards the end, he just takes one illegal knee. My opinion, okay, yeah, knee to the head. It hits pretty hard and will rattle your cage a little bit. He kind of flopped out a little bit. Kind of faked it out, in my opinion, to get that belt. Because he is flaunting it like he whooped Jan's ass. And now he's backing out because of, I believe it's something to do with neck injuries from the past and all that. It's like, oh my God, that's like all I hear is excuses not to want to lose the belt to Jan because he knows Jan's not going to throw that illegal knee to save his ass when he's getting mopped all over the octagon. But because of that, now we have Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen, which, I mean, this is going to be a fight. This is going to be a great fight. There's like, okay, we had it. We need this. We need the Sterling fight to play out with Jan because we need to see Jan whoop his ass to shut his ass up, just to get him out of there, just to goodbye with you, Sterling. But, oh man, am I excited for the Jan and Sandhagen fight.
Yeah, me too. I think it's going to be a fucking banger. Those two are just going to be throwing fists, kicks, knees. They're going to be throwing absolutely everything at each other. It's going to be a pleasure to watch.
I saw in the comments because they posted that, and Sterling actually commented on it, saying, "Oh yeah, we're about to see who's the second best or something."
No, you're going to see who's better than you.
This man had probably about 800 plus likes on his comment. He had 900 comments on his comment.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
Wow.
I couldn't even load even a quarter of them.
That's ridiculous.
And they're all just be like, Paper Champ just talking mad shit. It's like, bro, you got your ass whooped and won a belt because of an illegal blow. Like, yeah, that guy is pathetic.
Yeah, honestly.
We need him to lose that belt so he can just shut the fuck up.
But the problem is he's not gonna fucking defend it. So like, he has to. He at some point he does have to, or else he gets stripped. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I need Jan to win this fight so I can see him whoop his ass for revenge. Because I want Jan to get his revenge.
I agree.
Just because. But oh man, Sandhagen would knock him lights out too. So I would not mind either of these two fucking whooping his ass.
This is a big piece of news here that I think we all kind of knew this was going to happen, knowing that Tyron needs some more money for a rematch. You know, he likes his money. So Tyron Woodley did get the tattoo of Jake Paul.
Yep.
I Love and Jake Paul are 3 different fonts. Just want to point that out. Thought that was just unnecessary as fuck. Put it on the middle finger.
They didn't want it to look nice.
Finger. And now I believe that this means it's a rematch, correct? This was the implication for the rematch?
Yes, but there's questions into calling if Jake's actually going to give him that rematch.
Well, if he does, that's what he said. He said a tattoo for the rematch.
Yes.
That's
but Jake's response wasn't all fully, oh, I'm giving you that rematch now or whatever.
Yeah, Jake's actually ridiculous. So
what?
God only knows.
Yeah, if he gets honestly, Woodley's dumb for even trying to do that because it's like, bro, you should have known from the get-go. There's a good chance you're not getting that rematch. He just wants you to get ink on you.
If he has to get that rematch and he's got that tattoo, he's going to feel like
Tyron's
going to beat his ass.
Yeah. I mean, there was in the contract, it was only scheduled if Woodley won that there would be a rematch. So there's nothing really enforcing this.
Of course it was.
Yeah, move on from that.
All right. Anyways, just so everyone knows, the UFC 266 recap, that will be on Saturday. If we're rolling through this and you're like, what the hell? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No one's going to correct you.
Okay, so that just letting y'all know that's coming Saturday. But
Panthers and Jaguars had a trade recently. We don't usually see a whole lot of NFL trades during the year. It's usually a lot of offseason stuff, but we do have one that happened recently. The Panthers received cornerback C.J. Henderson and a 5th-round pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars, who received tight end Dan Arnold and a 3rd-round pick. I'm going to let you guys say who you thought came away on the upside on this trade real quick. But first, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that I believe this is a great trade for the Carolina Panthers. I think it also works well for the Jaguars. I think it benefits both teams where they're positioned at right now. And I think as you could see in training camp when they had a three-way battle for tight end in Jacksonville, that they really didn't know what they wanted from their tight ends that they had, and they didn't love their options. So they finally got a tight end there, and Carolina boosted that defense up, and they've had a great start to the year. So it'd be very beneficial for them to keep it rolling by bolstering up that defense because their offense has figured it out.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade both ways. Like, I'd give the Jags a B-, but I'd give the Panthers the B+.
I give the Panthers an A+. This is amazing for them. They got a fucking great corner, and they didn't really have to give up a big piece of their offense that they're working with. And then on top of it, you don't see two players in trades one-on-one in the NFL anymore. You see player for picks most of the time, let alone a starter for starter. That's also very rare. And I think the fact that the Panthers were able to give away a starter on offense that isn't at all going to be a big factor to them overall going forward, and gain a big piece for their defense, which might I add, I had in fantasy last week, and their defense is mighty fine. So I think that the Panthers get an A if I were to have to grade this. But overall, the Jaguars, yeah, I would keep your B- where it is.
All right, that's fair. That's a hot take there, Dylan. An A+. We'll see how that pans out when it comes to next weekend.
Yeah.
A little bit of college football news here. A big shocker when number 9 Clemson lost to NC State in overtime. This was a wild finish.
Oh yeah.
NC State gave Clemson the chance to redeem themselves by missing that 30-yard field goal to win the game, and Clemson still lost in double overtime. This is a completely different Clemson team than we have been used to seeing recently. Holy shit. You said it last week, Ty, that Clemson is not going to be in the picture for the next couple of years. I back that 1,000%.
They are falling off the map. They'll be on there because of what they did the last couple of years, and they'll be, still talked about and all this and that, but I don't think they're going to be great. Also, a team that's in the opposite trending direction, going upwards, Penn State, now ranked number 4 in the country at 4 wins, no losses, when, as you might not remember last year, when they started off 0-4,
yeah,
and things were going horribly, they are now ranked number 4 in the country. How do you guys feel about that turnaround by Penn State? It was rather quick.
Penn State is playing great football right now. They're beating good teams, and they're beating in a fashion where it's not like, oh, they got lucky or they got out of that one. Like, they're making arguments for why they're winning these games, and I think that's a big thing into the rankings as well. It's not only are you beating good teams, but it's like, look at Notre Dame. Like they finally beat a good team or whatever. But I feel like every game they played, this last week we saw was the first game that it wasn't like they squeaked away with a win. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a big factor into seedings, and I feel like maybe you can make an argument for their first game of the year, but I don't really think they've squeaked away with a win. Same with Oregon, which is why Oregon is, I believe, 5th or 3rd. So
I believe they're 3rd.
Yeah. Same situation with them.
Luke, how do you feel?
I mean, what I feel is just good for them.
Good for them.
It is.
It's fair enough. Another little bit of college here. Michigan and Michigan State both moved to 4-0. Interesting games coming up this weekend. What I want to know is which team has looked more impressive to you guys so far? I don't know how much of each team you guys have watched, but which team looks more impressive at their 4-0 start?
I mean, I want to say Michigan, but it's still tough to get the full read on how they're going to perform fully to the extent with all the pressure and with other top level skill, instead of just blowing through some pretty donkey teams that they really should beat. Even though I will say, I feel like they struggled a lot more than they should have last week. A lot more. So I guess I'll just give it to MSU for the better 4-0 on this one.
I would have to
All
say
right.
the same, only because I was looking at their situation and it seems pretty similar. Like last week, they both squeaked away with wins when they probably shouldn't have, and they made games closer than they did need to. So when I look at it, the only thing I can look at is who beat or who had a bigger win through these first 4 games, or who beat like the best opponent, and that would just be the fact that Michigan State beat number 14 ranked Miami at the time, and that was the biggest win over Michigan's win to Washington. So that's just what factored it out for me.
Yeah, I gotta see more competition from
Right.
against Michigan.
And they will.
Definitely.
They got Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State. They got them all coming up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And two big games coming up this weekend for both teams who will have some competition with some stingy defenses. So it should be good for both teams this weekend to see if they can both increase to 5-0. Hopefully they're undefeated by the time that they play 3
That
weeks
would
from
be
now. And the October 30th game, that one's going to be interesting.
Ooh.
Now, a little bit of fantasy football. The fantasy football week 3 results. So this is a little part of the show where we go over the Ride the Tide Sports Podcast Fantasy Football League, where I took a fat fucking L this week. So I'll just get right into it. So this week I played Jake, aka Hernandez, is killing it. Same name for like 3 years. Maybe he'll change it one day. Probably not.
God.
Don't know why he has it.
Hernandez is killing it. 147.64. Just absolutely murdered me. DJ Moore, 20.5 points. Aaron Rodgers, 19. I had Tannehill with 21 and also Eckler with 22, my top performer. So thanks, Eckler, for trying, but better luck next time. Next up, we got Jesse Carter, the Wanderer, who cannot be here tonight. He destroyed my girlfriend.
Decimated.
Chamber,
Yeah,
also known as the Chamber of Dylan's Vaginas. Excuse my language. But that is the name, and she's a woman, so say what you want.
Fuck her.
The Peru Pandas, which is the Wanderer, defeated her 157 to 103, so that's brutal. He had Kyler Murray, Alvin Kamara, both like 20 points each. Cooper Kupp with 30.5. He's so dangerous. Jamar Chase, who wasn't supposed to actually start in his lineup, but he messed up, and he did start him. So props to him, because when I texted him saying, oh, my God, Chase going off, he goes, yeah, I accidentally started him. I go, oh, okay, cool.
Accidentally started him.
Yeah. So moving on to the next
That ever
game.
works for
Our buddy Luke here, Captain
God.
Barkneys.
Cremated.
You want to talk about this one, Luke?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Because, like, you know, I'm getting really, really sick of my wide receiver situation, okay? I had a solid baseline of 8 points between my 2 wide receivers and my flex, which is also a wide receiver. And it is killing me. My kicker has been going off for me, keeping me in it. Dak Prescott has been
Shout out
pissing
Denver.
me off. Yeah, he finished with roughly close to 20 points. But, oh my Lord, this man should be putting up close to 30 every other week. And he shows up with 7 points last week, and he gives me only this shit?
You want to talk about Marquise Brown?
Oh
And
my!
how he
dude,
should have
no,
had
I
2
really
touchdowns
don't.
and 150
This
yards.
Marquise Brown should have had like a 30-plus point game if he had any form of hands at the end of his wrists. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, there is zero coordination that goes in where you're just open, free. Oh, la-di-la, let me just catch this and just take a couple steps towards the end zone. Zero coordination for
He
that.
didn't get to the catch part.
He reached all the way to the negatives with his coordination to fluff it up. Oh my fuck.
So shout out there to Team Wargo, 177 to 116 win. Justin Herbert, 30 points. Devontae Adams, 31. Justin Jefferson, 26. And Mike Williams, 33 in the flex. Really good game from Team Wargo there. The next game we have is McLilly, McDilly, McSilly, McSquilly over here, who changed his name now to Tyco Touches Toddlers, which is not cool because I guess we're playing next week. So thanks, Dylan. But he took an 8-point win over CMCU at the top, Brad Lusky, and that was probably mostly due to the Christian McCaffrey injury and D-Hop only getting 3 receptions. So,
and Josh
a little bit
Allen
of a
going
bust.
bananas.
Well, you won by 8 points, so that's not
You
the
won by
difference
8
maker
points
here.
with McCaffrey putting up
But
6.
Josh Allen,
You got
top
lucky.
performer.
McCaffrey got hurt.
Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever.
You think McCaffrey wasn't
You
going to put
you
up
did.
another
You can't
16?
say you didn't get lucky. He
You're
got
telling
hurt.
me
All
you
I can
expected.
say is I'm the only one on the pod that squeaked out a dub this week.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Even Miller Lite Big Mike took an L this week,
Right.
a.k.a. Pops. He lost to Mitchell.
My
St. Luke's
brother.
brother over here.
Woo!
139 to 127. He started Tom Brady over Matt Stafford, but the difference was only 1 point because his quarterbacks are too good. Kareem Hunt had 27.5 points for Big Mike, and Kittle finally showed up with 17.5. But it wasn't enough because Quarter Chubb had Elliott with 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards. Najee Harris, 40 yards, and I believe he had some in the air as well.
Oh, yeah,
102.
no, he had 14 receptions.
102 yards in the air.
14
and,
receptions.
just a
as
good
running
game.
Back. Jesus.
Good game overall, and that's what happened last week. The current standings in the East, we got Big Mike, Team Wargo, and Hernandez is killing it, all at 2-1. And then you got me and Luke sitting at the bottom there. I'm in 4th, 1-2. Luke's at the bottom, 0-3. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah,
And then the
sucks.
other side on the West, we got the Peru Pandas 2-1. Dylan's 2-1 as well. I'm not going to say his team name is going to change every week, so I'm just going to call him Dylan. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then Quarter Chubb also 2-1, and then Mickey and Brad also at the bottom of that division at 1-2. And so
CMCU at the fucking bottom, bro.
One. I should be 1-2, but Dak had to put up 7 points for me when I lost by 2.
Yeah, that was brutal.
But now, let's get into the fucking football. Oh, the betting first. God damn it. I got ahead of myself. I'm going to leave.
Goodbye.
So the NFL Week 3 betting recap. We can get into this real quick. Luke, I don't know if you placed any bets this weekend, but I just have a quick recap if you don't.
I mean, I did. Not really that much. My typical Rodgers, Adams, Slay didn't hit again. It's rough out here, man. One day that's going to hit.
The Rodgers-Adams lay, if your lay was like Rodgers for 2 touchdowns, Adams for a touchdown, could have hit, but you extended it from what I'm aware of.
I did, but Rodgers did not hit 280 passing yards, which I needed him to.
Come on, Aaron.
The other
He
part of
never
that
fulfills, even
The
if he
other part
fulfills
was-
one half.
The other part was Debo Samuel, and he was just a fat dud. Absolute dummy dud.
Yeah, things could have definitely went better on that side. But with a little help from Vegas Sports Advantage, our proud betting partners,
Those are really
I
good.
managed to hit a good lick on the house last weekend. Had a good couple of parlays that banged, and I started with 50. We worked our way to 300. So I took my 50, put it in my pocket, virtually, because FanDuel, and put it in my pocket, took my 250, threw it on a lay. We made 950. So good night all around. Just in case you guys wanted to know, I will share it real quick. The Saints +3, Chargers +7, and the under 42.5 in the Pittsburgh Steelers and Bengals game was the $50 to win 318. And then moving on to the 250, we threw the house money on the parlay for the Rams -1.5, Packers +3. Rams -1.5 was an alternate spread. to win 971. So a solid night for the NFL Week 3 betting in the books. And with that, we'll move on to the NFL Week 3 recap, and we'll bring Dylan back in here.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. You just, like you said, ahead of yourself. And that's okay.
Lily.
You know,
McLilly.
as I was out,
What if we
I
shook no?
realized, when was my name changed to McLilly? Like last week, I didn't even have McDilly, and you said I'll earn my nickname back. And now I'm McLilly?
You're working your way up the chains.
God,
I've
Step by
changed
step.
your name 3 times during this podcast. This is the first time you've noticed.
yeah, because I had some time as I was out to sit and go, who the fuck is McLilly? And then I was like, oh, that's my
It's-
name.
It's you.
You had to think about it.
Yeah.
Let me help you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my
Who
brain
is McLilly for 300?
For 300.
That's funny.
Who is McLilly? Well,
But
the
anyways.
NFL Week 3 recap. Let's go, Dylan. Let's go. Tell me your number one game of the weekend.
All right. My number one game of the weekend, and I don't want to hear it. Now, I know that I'm supposed to be in a bikini right now. I know. I don't want to hear it. Okay. So
There will be repercussions.
Yeah. Okay. So as you know what I'm talking about, for those of you who don't, I was almost certain that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were going to win. But for those of you who watched the game, that wasn't the case. This is now back-to-back weeks that when Patrick Mahomes was needed in the prime time clutch moments, fourth quarter drive, he throws a pick. And he throws a damn awful one, too. Justin Herbert, but in the beginning of the year, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a video that went viral on Twitter, and it was pretty much someone saying to Patrick Mahomes at a golf outing thing, you know, watch out for Justin Herbert. He goes, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, believe it when you goddamn see it, because I just saw it last Sunday. Justin Herbert absolutely dotting. This man was painting the corners. I mean, he was hitting everybody. He was hitting Mike Williams. He was hitting Keenan Allen. He was hitting Eckler. He was hitting people that I didn't even know were on the roster. And this man, his completion percentage was great. He was throwing touchdowns. He was getting fantasy points. He was getting yards. Honestly, this was one of the best Chargers performances I've seen in 3-4 years. It's been a while. This was a great game by the Chargers. That was my game.
Honestly, I'd give it to the Packers 49ers game. Mostly because of the Packers.
Let's hear it, Luke.
Well, I mean, the whole game was just going back and forth and everything. And then, like, towards the end, the 49ers finally get the lead back. And then all I remember seeing is a bunch of Green Bay fans just saying, all these guys, they're celebrating with a minute left. Oh, not even worried. Next thing you know, Rodgers is marching down the field with no timeouts, like less than 30 seconds, and he pulls it off. Gets just in range for the field goal to win it, and everyone's cheering.
What's important to note about this, and I don't know how many people saw it, but Rodgers, when he spiked the ball, he like celebrated afterwards.
Because he knew he just won the game.
Yeah. He spiked the ball and knew for sure, even with all the kicking problems that you know are around the entire league every single game, he was like, yeah, we won. Or he had $50,000 on the spread. I don't know.
He won, but
And he was
won.
like, hey, I'm
In that
still
case,
getting
he won
my
twice.
spread.
Now, it's funny you say that because the way he celebrated, it didn't seem like he knew they won. Because the way he celebrated was like a...
Well, he called it, and then he got
"Yeah."
extra excited because he called it, and it actually happened.
All right, yeah, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
All right, I guess, Tyler, I already think I know what you're going to say, but what was your game of the week? Boy, I wonder what it could be.
Well, what do you think it is?
You're going to say the Matthew Stafford Rams victory over the Buccaneers.
Well, maybe that's exactly what I was going to say because I called it.
We all
Everything
called it.
over. Give me Matthew Stafford.
Ice.
Undefeated.
I told you. He was going to reverse the script. He was going to flip it, turn the tables on Brady. And what did he do? He fucking turned the table.
Fucking tables on motherfucking
Let's
Brady.
go. We love it here.
Oh man, this Rams
Not here.
17-0 fucking bet is just gonna. I'm gonna hear about it until they lose.
I didn't bet it. I just believe it. Rams for the bowl.
Should probably go see if you still bet that.
Anyways, I mean, the biggest thing that I have established from this game is Cooper Kupp is wide receiver number 1, and it isn't
In the
close.
league. Period.
It isn't close on the Rams.
Right
because
now.
he's wide receiver number 1 in the league right now. He is the man that he has found. And also, another very important thing I want to point out, Deshaun Jackson, 2022, 2014. You honestly have to help me because I didn't see a difference after that game.
He looks like the same person.
It
He just
was
needs someone to throw him the ball that far.
exactly.
He'll run
man.
that far and that fast. He just needs
Look what
someone to get
happened.
there.
Look how good the Rams are when they have a functional QB behind them.
And look how bad we are with Jared Goff.
Yeah, they gave us their dysfunctional quarterback that checks down every single play.
Look how good Stafford is with a full team of weapons.
Yeah, honestly. But
It makes me want to cry.
it's
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
we love it.
It's
but
beautiful.
I already said it.
Well, let's talk about it.
So let's peel.
Let's
the
talk
damn
about the
Band-Aid
kick.
off.
Let's do it. Let's
The
talk about the
Ravens
kick.
And the Lions. All right, fuck it. We're gonna go into the last minute and a half of the game. So all you need to know to recap, like if you want to fast forward the game, holy shit, the Lions are actually stopping the Lions are actually stopping the Ravens. They're actually playing really good defense and stopping Lamar Jackson. I cannot believe what's going on. And Hollywood Brown dropped 2 passes. That's all you need to know.
That is very important to note.
And
It should not have been a
biggest thing-
1-point game. It should have been a 15-point game.
The biggest thing that I also want to point out, first kick of the game, Justin Tucker, 20-some yards. Missed it. Okay? That's just something I want to keep in mind. Now,
That's
we
so
go
funny.
into the last
That's
2 minutes of the game. We had a field goal with 1 minute and 4 seconds on the clock. Holy shit, Detroit might beat Baltimore. Until you forgot, Detroit doesn't always play the other teams. They always play the fucking refs. You forgot they always play them. So
Nah, they play history and always end up on the wrong side.
that's also very, very true.
also applies. Continue.
But on a outrageous third down, there is a delay of game that goes on for 1.6 seconds. Isn't called by anybody, then leads them to a 4th down and 19, which they convert, which then leads Justin Tucker with 66 yards. We saw Prater kick a 68-yarder also, and everyone knows he's not going to make it. Tucker comes up. Yeah, he's a good kicker, but 66 yards, new NFL record. He's not going to make it. The only reason why you would think he'll make it is because he's versing the Lions. So what did he do? He comes up. Very important to point out, before he kicks, he crow hops the very short amount as he stops to get extra power. Crow hops, does his 1-2 step, kicks the ball. It looks perfect like a Justin Tucker kick, but because it's 66 yards, it doesn't have the distance. Hits the post. But because they're versing the Detroit Lions, the ball goes up and over the bar. History's made, 66 yards, no delay of game, and the Lions lose 19-17. Are you fucking kidding me? It's so hard. It's so hard. God damn it.
Right? What's even crazier too is there was a 68-yard attempt. That was returned.
Yeah, but I mean the 66.
Like we almost saw
NFL
that
history.
record. Honestly, we almost saw that record not even be a record because there could have been a 68.
Yeah, but that wasn't happening, man.
That was
scary.
wild. Why did they do that?
You never
Was
know.
there wind
maybe,
or something?
maybe they had the wind on their side.
Yeah, that has to be why.
Okay.
I don't know.
I want
But shout out to
It
Agnew,
was the end of the
former
second.
Lion,
It was
who
the
is
end of the-
succeeding elsewhere like most Detroit athletes. Congratulations. You made it.
I want to say, since we're on the trend of talking about a big moment and then going into that game, the Jaguars played. So I guess we'll just talk about that game. And I'll be honest, I thought the Jaguars, after the 68-yard punt return by Jamal Agnew, who another piece of history was made, that was the longest play in NFL history. Shout out former line, like you said, Jamal Agnew. I thought going into that and then going into halftime, I was like, holy shit, the Jaguars are going to fucking win. How are they going to beat the Cardinals? I don't know, but they're going to beat the Cardinals. And that's what I was saying. Then we go into second half. I go, oh yeah, Kyler Murray's on the Cardinals. And then you just see what happens. Now
the rest pretty much puts itself together at that point.
DeAndre Hopkins wasn't even used because of his rib problems, and they were still lighting up the fucking scoreboard on offense. I mean, Christian Kirk, I know he had one or two. I think that this Cardinals team is going to be, fuck it, man. I think Kyler Murray might win an MVP, man, because he is the reason that this Cardinals team on offense is so good, and we already know their defense is. I'm surprised.
Are you gonna cry?
That's why I'm so hard for me to talk. I'm shocked at how well this Cardinals team is playing. I knew they were going to be good, but I am absolutely shocked at how well they are coming together. I know Kyler Murray is a good quarterback, but he is playing the best football of his career, and I think that the Cardinals and the Rams, oh my God, they play next week, and son of a bitch. It's going to be wild.
Okay. All right.
Well, moving
see
on.
ya. Moving on.
You wouldn't take the camera off me, so I left.
It was hilarious. That's why.
That was your moment.
It was.
Yeah, you were
That was
you
your
were shining.
moment, and
You almost
just
cried.
walked
It was all
away.
emotional, and then you just.
Were you ready for the Cardinals to play this well?
Yes.
Well,
Because
I
if I
mean,
remember me saying before,
I don't think they played
No,
great
you
against
don't count,
Jacksonville.
Luke, because they're an Arizona team.
That's not why, because I was actually talking to Jesse before this. I don't know if you were there or not, but I said if Kyler Murray figures out his shit and kicks out the kinks, they're going to be almost unbeatable.
Oh, you did say that. I was there for this conversation.
Okay, are we not going to acknowledge all the kinks that were in this game for that team? They played Jacksonville. And there was a lot of points in that game where they should have and could have lost.
Hey, but they
Dylan, you're talking
secondary-
very highly of a team that almost lost to
hey,
Jacksonville.
but they
Their
did figure
secondary
it out,
struggled,
caught
bro,
the
in the
dub.
first half. That was that.
Okay. I don't know if you
What
should
what were
speak-
they, Tyler? What do you think the problems were?
Mediocre. They played mediocre. If they had a game plan, they didn't
What were they
execute it
doing
very
wrong?
well.
Like I'm not trying to be a
Their
dick. I just
game
want you to be
plan
like, exactly.
clearly didn't work against their defense.
Well, they did kind of not have. their
Jacksonville
number one
looked
wide
pretty
receiver.
freaking good.
Right, that's true.
Hopkins wasn't really being used because of his rib too.
Yeah, he said, "Don't give me the ball." So when you can't like run your game plan, so take the
So
wide
that's the
receiver
reason
out of it.
Why?
What else can we do? We need to find a way to run the ball. Run the ball. Your quarterback can run the ball. Read options. Run a bunch of read options. Like he's very, very, very it's very like there are other ways to do it. And I think that their game plan against Jacksonville could have been and should have been better because that's not how that game should not have been that close.
I
If
agree.
Arizona is that good.
I don't think it would if Hopkins was 100% and they were using him to his full ability.
I think so, 100%. Anyone else have anything to say this? Because it's another game I want to talk about really bad. It's just on my brain a lot.
Speak.
Okay, so I'm just going to say the biggest upset we've seen so far. First things first, Ben Roethlisberger is a fucking potato. He is the least agile human being I've ever seen in my entire life. I know the grammar doesn't make sense, but I don't even care because the man walks and runs like this fucking bobblehead right here, okay? Back into the pocket. Oh, yeah, he's not really moving, is he? Yeah, because that's Ben Roethlisberger when he gets into the goddamn pocket. And also, the interception he threw on triple coverage to the middle linebacker, what hole did you see that, like, okay, so anyways, here's what I'm trying to say. The biggest upset that I have seen so far in the NFL season, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated, they didn't defeat, they beat the shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm not going to lie, for some reason, it was amazing to watch. It really was. It just made me happy. I don't know if it was just the fact that the Steelers always win these games or the fact that the Bengals and Jamar Chase were just going off, and I love to see that. Now, Joe Burrow did throw the interception that he has to throw to, keep his Jameis Winston numbers even. But he also, now 3 straight games starting the year, threw a one-on-one touchdown pass to the end zone to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase also had 2 touchdowns that game. And the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, Luke, Tycho, what the fuck? I mean, we none of us predicted this, right? None of us saw this coming.
No, not after Joe Burrow threw 3 picks on 3 passes last week. I was just not confident.
I'll tell you.
Right.
Ben looks bad. Ben is bad. It's brutal. His era of quarterbacks is no longer. You can't be Eli Manning anymore. You can't be Ben Roethlisberger anymore. You can't be a only pocket quarterback unless your name's Tom Brady. He's the only one. He's the last of that.
The last one was Drew Brees, and he just retired last year.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's a surprise to me for like the big upset, like all that. I still had some faith that the Steelers had some juice. I know they didn't have Deontay Johnson, but apparently that's Ben Roethlisberger's only target from here on out to the rest of the season because Deontay Johnson was out, and their running back got like 19 targets.
14, yeah.
He caught 14.
Oh, holy shit. 14 for 19, what the fuck?
Yeah. And it's just like, unless he has Johnson out there on the field, this man is an actual dud.
He's a big-ass dud.
And everyone else on the Steelers are just hollow.
Yeah,
they don't even exist out there, basically.
I agree 1,000%. Moving on to let's just get this one out of the way real quick because there's not really a whole lot to say other than Josh Allen absolutely torched the Washington football team. The Buffalo Bills played Washington in Buffalo, and Josh Allen had 4 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, 5 total TDs. He had over 300 passing yards. I said on the podcast that he would have a big game. I wasn't ready for the game that he had against Washington. But all of that aside, that was the big story. That's what everything knows. There's one question that Tyler has been saying now. He said it last week. He said it Saturday. And I want to know, what is your answer to this question, Tyler? Because you've been saying it a lot. Is Taylor Heinicke that guy?
Yeah, he's still that guy.
He's still that guy?
You can't help when you're.
He's still that guy.
You can't help when your defense gets absolutely pulverized.
Did the team fall apart last week? Yes. Is he still that guy? Yes.
I agree. I think he played great, honestly.
Shot. I don't know. He still performed to the best of his own abilities in that game. I don't think the rest of the team did the same.
Exactly.
I think they left Heinicke out to dry. Shame on Washington.
I agree. Going into another one of our undefeated teams, we had the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, all their games are close, aren't they?
They're very close. It's the second time they've overcame a 14-0 deficit.
It's wild. So Las Vegas, they hosted Miami, and boy, oh boy, was this a ball game. Now, I'm gonna let you start just because I've kind of been going on the game. So Tyler, I'll let you start recapping this one.
Well, I mean, this game was something. Miami's defense immediately reminded you that they're not that bad because they stepped up and they got points early. And when you go down by 14 in the NFL, that's always difficult. But as anybody that's ever watched NFL football knows, you're never safe at 14, especially early in the game. And as a Lions fan, you're never even safe at like 20 to maybe 30. But anyways, like we've seen it all. We've seen so many different types of crazy comebacks by different deficits. We've seen Brady in the Super Bowl 27-3. Like no one's ever safe, and the momentum in football switches so fast. And I mean, props to the Raiders for when they changed the momentum, for keeping it on their side and basically shutting Miami out almost the whole rest of the game. So good on them. It was a good game though. Miami is really struggling without Tua on there.
Yes, but Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good.
He looked a lot better.
It
was a dumpster fire last week when he came in.
That 4th and 20 in OT to Gesicki, that was a hell of a play.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing that I just want to point out real quick, and I think that you guys, I want to get your opinions, but for the most part, I think you'll agree. If you're in an overtime game and your opponent goes down and they score a field goal, right? They're up by 3. Touchdown, you win it. If you have like 4 or 5 minutes, not a whole lot of time left, essentially knowing if you don't score a touchdown right here, like getting a field goal or whatever, there's a good chance that all they have to do is score and they win. Next score wins, correct? So if you're at a 4th and 2, why wouldn't you just go for it? Like,
are you saying that the team that I'm playing against just kicked a field goal and now I have the ball?
Yeah, you have the ball, and now because Miami.
And now it's 4th and 2.
And they kicked the field
and now
goal.
Wait. So now it's 4th and 2, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm 30.
So if I lose the ball, the game's over. They don't have to score again, Dylan. Only if I score do they get the ball back.
If you score a field
so
goal.
I could miss the kick and I lose.
Right.
I can go for it and not get it and I lose.
Or you could go for it, get the 2 yards, and then score the touchdown to win. I just feel like if
who's guaranteeing me the touchdown after I get a first down?
Your chances are a lot better.
You're not wrong.
You're saying I get all these questions, but I'm just saying if you're on a 4th and 2 and you're like, oh, we're gonna kick this field goal, but then now it's just next score wins. All they have to do is kick a field goal and they win. They don't even need a tutty. They just need 3. You know what I mean?
Where are you at on the field is the question. Like you're in field goal range,
they were at the
clearly.
30-something.
Okay, so I mean,
I see what you're saying.
It's looking at your offense and going, do we think that we're gonna make this play right here, right now, with the way the game's been going, like, or do we take the points and do we trust our defense more right now? It's kind of like a heat of the moment decision. It really is.
It's more of a sense like choosing to go for the tie or to go for the dub.
Right, and I felt like they were almost okay with getting like the tie, which was confusing to me. I feel like you'd want to go for the dub, and it'd be like, okay,
Dylan's saying.
But you're on the
Go
30.
out.
You're not on the 2-yard line.
Right, but I feel like if you're like
That's the
out,
difference.
You'd go out because you couldn't get on the 4th rather than, we got the field goal, but then of course they just went down and you had to get 30, 40 yards to kick the field goal. I don't know, just something to think about. It's a double perspective argument.
I see
I'll be
what
honest.
you're saying.
It can go. It's either way. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's just I don't think that it makes sense to go for it on the 30-some versus if it was like 4th and goal from the 2, and it's either you take the field goal to tie or you can win the game right here. Like I'm winning the game from the 2-yard line. Like I'm going for it then. But if I'm past the 25 and it's 4th and 2, like I still got a good ways to go. And unless I'm a team like, hold on. Unless I'm a team like Tampa Bay or LA or, any team that has like 2 or 3 elite wide receivers that I can throw the ball to, I'm not doing it. And especially with a backup quarterback who is iffy, I mean, you take the points there. in my opinion, and then it's
You take
only
the
because
loss
of
there,
what they
you
have.
do. You take the loss. That's what you're doing. That's why I don't get. I only bring this
Not
up
if you
because
play
on Twitter,
defense.
all the Miami Dolphins
If you play
fans that were on
defense, you're
Twitter
not taking
were
the
all
loss. What are you
tweeting
talking
how
about?
this was- Bro, just let me say this. I only bring this up because all the Miami Twitter fans on Twitter were saying this was a stupid decision. Why didn't we go for it? We clearly didn't want to win. All the points I'm making. That's the only
Okay,
reason.
why didn't the Lions get a touchdown instead of running the clock and kicking a field goal?
Because we didn't think
They
it was
didn't
going to
wanna
make
win.
a 66-yard field goal.
They didn't think. Oh, who's to say the Lions were going to get a 4th and 20? It's all in the air, Dylan. You can't guarantee a win or a loss based on something that happens like before that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all
I get it.
football
Yeah, it's
gets
double
played.
perspective, bro. I get it 100%.
No, that's not what I'm not trying to explain a double perspective.
No, I'm just saying that it's two ways. Like, you're looking at it one way, and I'm looking at it a different way.
Yeah, no shit.
I get where you're coming
Hence,
from.
hence why I'm trying to make a point.
I get your point. That's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. I just don't agree, and that's how it's just going to be. That's why I'm saying we got to move on. I don't get why you're irritated.
You can't even argue properly. That's why I'm irritated. I'd rather be arguing with you about my point versus you going, double perspective. Basically saying, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, you see it
I don't
your
really
way,
get
and I
it.
see it my way.
I don't
Okay,
really
let's
get your
argue about
side.
it. Let's argue about it. Let's argue about why your point's better than my point. Come on.
You've lost me. Oh, I lost him.
Such a little.
Oh, we got him
bitch.
back. Oh, we lost him. He's being censored because of
For
God only knows what
for
he's
the
saying.
record, I am more on Dylan's side on this.
And that's fair.
Statements.
I just don't understand how you can
Thank
guarantee
you.
a loss
He's not-
when
he's
the game
not-
is
it's just-
tied and you get to play defense
I
and your
understand
defense
that.
already has points in that game. You're very much capable
Yeah,
of
but Derek
picking the
Carr
ball
knows-
off and getting 6 or stopping them getting the ball and you kick a field goal. Or the NFL has ties now.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck a tie.
So you can
Yeah, fucking
take the
tie.
tie
Yeah,
over
fuck
the
a tie.
loss.
Like,
Nobody. That's just as bad.
You have a backup. Okay, but you're in their position. You have a backup quarterback.
I would have went
But
for
Brissett
it
was balling.
because it's just like
Brissett was balling.
I don't.
Okay.
I
What
think
other
the
game
better
would you
call
like
is
to
go
talk
for
about?
2 instead.
Is there any other game worth talking about
Yes,
other than the
I
Monday night
do.
game?
Yes, I do, and I want to do it very quickly because the New York Jets still suck. But we do have to talk about.
That's
fact
not a
that-
game we talk about.
Yes, we are. because
Jets
the De-
are gonna fucking lose every week
right, but I do have to point out that the Denver Broncos are 3-0. They're not a
Against three
team that
shitty
we
teams.
expected to go
Next.
3-0.
against 3 shitty teams. Next,
They're like 2.5-0 right now.
They're like
That's-
2-0.
Beating the
They're
Jets is
like-
like a half win.
maybe like 1.5-0.
It's like playing the Jets is like playing your little
Each
brother
team they
in
beat, they
mini
get
stakes.
0.5 in my
Yeah.
mind.
You're gonna beat the shit out of them and kick their ass.
Okay, then let's just move on to Seattle, Minnesota. I think that this was a game that I didn't see coming. I had Seattle winning, I'll be completely honest. I think that Kirk Cousins played very good. Surprisingly well, to be honest. And also, so did Madison. He played very well stepping in for Dalvin Cook.
Well, I'm not surprised by that because he always steps up when Cook's out.
Right.
Like, he is a definite add if you have Cook, just in case Cook's out, because he will do the work, almost guaranteed.
Uh-huh. Tyler, how do you feel about this game?
I didn't pay attention to a single lick of it.
Madison had 32 rushing attempts.
Who is
Okay.
she?
Yeah. But and then the final game that I just want to touch on real quick is the New England Patriots played the New Orleans Saints. And Jameis Winston,
She cute.
we didn't know which one, which one. He decided he was going to throw touchdowns. So, yes, that he did throw touchdowns, but there's one play that I just want to talk about, and it was the second touchdown he threw to Callaway. And I think you know what I'm talking about. He didn't essentially look at where he was throwing. He kind of just threw it.
It's called a little bit of blind luck, and
It's
Well-
just the way Jameis Winston plays.
He kind of got drilled.
Yeah.
He didn't just look away and throw the ball. He
Right.
kind of got drilled and decided that throwing the ball was a good idea.
he just saw Callaway in that area. Is like, okay, he's over there. Fuck it.
He probably saw him like 3 seconds earlier and was like, hopefully he didn't move because I'm just going to put it where I saw him before.
Right.
Because he was like looking up in the air and he just like he got killed. I don't. Jameis.
Yeah,
Jameis
and
is
then
something else.
shout out my Titans. They dubbed, and then I don't really have anything else.
The Cardinals are currently winning 3-2 in the 5th inning.
The Cardinals are trying to make it 17. Bro, that's a franchise record. Come on now.
And the Tampa Bay Rays are winning 2-0.
Hey,
There
For
we
any of you
go.
that followed the Twitter poll that I posted before this podcast, pretty sure 56% of you before the podcast started were riding with me and the Rays, and 40 whatever percent of you is left. Fuck off. Why do you hate? Come on.
exactly what he said, word for word. Quote it, stamp it, put it in the timeline.
Uh-oh.
This is the public service announcement. Back up my bets.
Listen to Snoop.
That's all I got. Thanks, Dylan. I can do that. He backs me. Snoop, we gonna win? No, I think he said no, actually.
Oh, fuck. Well,
I'm gonna blame that on a bad hit by myself. But that's all we have for today's midweek recap. We'll join you guys on Saturday morning. We'll recap UFC, and we will bring you all the football takes for this weekend. But for the football bets, you're gonna want to go right up here to Vegas Sports Advantage, and that's actually going to be found in our Twitter bio or on our website, which is also in our Twitter bio. So at Ride the Tide 586, click the link, find your picks, pick a package that works for you, and start winning because I'm getting picks all week long, and I'm winning.
Hey,
money. And
they even still send
come
some
on.
baseball ones too.
I got golf. I got golf earlier today. I got
Come on now.
baseball. I've got NASCAR bets that
And-
come in sometimes.
And what happens to those? They hit, and hit.
you damn right.
Exactly. All they do is send winners. So become a winner today with Vegas Sports Advantage. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Ride the Tide Sports Podcast is brought to you by Vegas Sports Advantage.
Welcome to VegasSportsAdvantage.com, the website where you can win with us. It doesn't matter if your favorite team is playing.
It doesn't matter what you think.
What matters is which team has the best odds to win. Our MIT team has had a winning record every year for the past 15 years. This gives us the confidence to guarantee all of our packages. We have the highest verified record. Don't miss out. Get in the game. It doesn't matter which sport it is.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Win with Vegas Sports Advantage. Go to VegasSportsAdvantage.com to start winning today.